Welcome to Chapter 20 of To Kill a Mockingbird. Chapter 20 can actually be broken into two parts. The first part is Dolphus Raymond, and the second part is Atticus Finch's closing statements to the jury. So, part one, Dolphus Raymond gives Dill a drink from his bottle to calm Dill's stomach. Remember, this is after, in Chapter 19, Dill is so upset about the racist comments that Gilmer Mr. Gilmer has made towards Tom Robinson, calling him boy at least 7 times, and making him admit that he felt sorry for Mayella Yule. So he gives Dill a drink from his bottle to calm Dill's stomach. Remember that Dolphus Raymond is rumored to drink whiskey all day long from a brown paper sack. Dill grins and tells Scott that it's just Coca-Cola. Scott was apparently worried. Apparently, that's all that Raymond drinks. Dolphus Raymond then gives the reason why he pretends to be a drunk. Note this is on page 229. I try to give them a reason. You see, it helps folks if they can latch on to a reason. When I come to town, which is seldom, if I weave a little and drink out of the sack, folks say Dolphus Raymond's in the clutches of whiskey. That's why he won't change his ways. He can't help himself. That's why he lives the way he does. They could never understand that I live like I do because that's the way I want to live. Also note that the rumor about the Spindler lady that Raymond was supposed to marry a few chapters back, she probably killed herself because Raymond told her he was going to marry the African American woman and not her, and that would be the ultimate disgrace, perhaps, that Dolphus Raymond prefers an African American woman over a white woman. There's a description of Dolphus on 228. He smelled of leather, horses, cottonseed. He wore the only English riding boots I had ever seen. So this is Scott's description of him. Note that he doesn't smell like a drunk. He doesn't smell of whiskey. He smells of leather, horses, and cottonseed. Also note that the Dolphus, the name means noble wolf. Raymond, the name means counselor or a wise protector, and he is both of those things. And then his parting thoughts to Scout and Dill are about the fact that the reason why he helped them out because he saw Dill crying, and when Dill grows up, perhaps he'll become immune to what he has seen and won't cry anymore. He says, "Cry about the hell white people give color folks without ever stopping to think that they're people too." And then we get back inside. Scott and Dill goes back inside, and we get Atticus's closing remarks. He remarks that there is no evidence that Tom Robinson committed any crime. There's no medical evidence. He also, talks about Mayella broke the taboo of society, and therefore she must get rid of the evidence of her guilt. That the person who beat Mayella was left-handed, and Tom can't use his left hand. That the case is a case based on the stereotype of African Americans. They all want white women. That the one place where everyone should be equal is in the court of law, and he alludes to Thomas Jefferson and the Declaration of Independence. So let me read you some of his closing statements, and this is on 231, 232, and 233. The state has not produced one iota of medical evidence to the effect that the crime Tom Robinson is charged with ever took place. It has relied instead upon the testimony of 2 witnesses whose evidence has not only been called into serious question on cross-examination, but has been flatly contradicted by the defendant. I have nothing but pity in my heart for the chief witness for the state, but my pity does not extend so far as to her putting a man's life at stake, which she has done in an effort to get rid of her guilt. She was white, and she tempted a Negro. She did something that in our society is unspeakable. She kissed a black man, not an old uncle, but a strong, young Negro man. There is circumstantial evidence to indicate that Mayella was beaten savagely by someone who led almost exclusively with his left. We do know, in part, that what Mr. Ewell did. He did what any God-fearing, persevering, respectable white man would do under the circumstances. He swore out a warrant, no doubt signing it with his left hand. And Tom Robinson now sits before you, having taken the oath with the only good hand he possesses, his right hand. Their testimony would not be doubted, confident that you gentlemen would go along with them on the assumption, the evil assumption, that all Negroes lie, that all Negroes are basically immoral beings, that all Negro men are not to be trusted around our women, an assumption one associates with the minds of their caliber. There is one human institution that makes a pauper the equal of a Rockefeller, the stupid man the equal of an Einstein, and the ignorant man the equal of any college president. That institution, gentlemen, is a court. A court is only as sound as its jury, and a jury is only as sound as the men who make it up. So that's his closing statement to the jury, closing arguments. Of course, there are some allusions here. There's allusion to Thomas Jefferson and the Declaration of Independence, the opening that all men are created equal. One of the things that we are finding out in this court, all men are not created equal, not even in the court where they should be equal. They're not equal in the society that of Macomb. There's also a allusion to Rockefeller. Rockefeller was one of the richest people in the United States. Wealthy family background, someone with a name. There is situational irony here too. You have Adolphus Raymond pretending to be a drunk so that people have a reason about why he's married to a black woman, because they wouldn't understand if he just told them, that's what I want to do. I wanted to marry a black woman. I love her, and that's just the way it is. They wouldn't understand that. But because he's a drunk, at least it gives them something to latch onto that they can understand. So the themes here in this chapter: appearance versus reality. Adolphus Raymond, of course, fits that, and the nature of prejudice. Note those stereotypes that I just read. The stereotypes that all Negroes lie, that all Negroes are basically immoral beings, that all Negroes men are not to be trusted around our women. An assumption, so all these are stereotypes, and of course, the truth is that all men, black or white, fit those categories. I mean, some of them, as he says, some Negroes lie, some Negroes are immoral, some Negro men are not to be trusted around women, black or white. But this is a truth that applies to the human race and to no particular race of men. So it's a human quality, not a African American quality. Not all men are like this, but there are some of every race. Okay, I hope that helps. Talk to you tomorrow.